It's good to be here with you today, and I'm just going to give a few remarks. I'll promise not to take too long, hopefully not longer than you can sit down, that is. You know, I was thinking on the way coming in about our party, and I think as a party we have to renew our journey. A new day is upon us. We gather here tonight, I think, with the eyes of the world, perhaps even Lincoln's, upon us, all waiting to see what we will do and how we will do it. History is on our side. Whether it was escaping persecution to have freedom of religion, abolishing slavery and extending liberty, affording women their right to vote, or tearing down that wall in Berlin. What makes this country great is that we stand as the land of the free. And my friends, as a Republican Party, that is our way forward. Yet it's precisely when our party is challenged the most that we have the greatest opportunity to rise. And as we rise, we must rise as a party of prosperity, opportunity, and liberty. That's our charge, our call to duty. My mother, who happens to be my hero, separated from my father when I was 7 years old. We lived in a working poor neighborhood with struggling schools and high crime. She worked 2 jobs to provide for 3 boys. We didn't have a lot, but we had each other. And she instilled in my brothers and I a faith in the Almighty, a sense of right and wrong, and the ideals of giving your best to make a life for yourself and to do your part. So it was when Kathy, my wife, and I started out in life together. She was pregnant with our first child, and all we had to our name was a Honda Civic, a 13-inch TV, a pillow, a blanket, and our clothes. That's it. But we also had a dream that somehow, some way, we would make a life for ourselves. That's why liberty matters so much. We must fight for a government that protects our freedoms instead of trying to manage our lives. We are liberators as opposed to those that are administrators. We want judges that will interpret our Constitution, not legislate from the bench. A government that respects that this is the United States of America, not the European Union. For we choose capitalism over socialism, freedom over slavery, life over death, and states' rights over central planning, fiscal responsibility over fiscal deficits. We believe that you cannot make one man more free by making another man less free. And so we must fight for a country in which everybody has the opportunity to make a life for themselves, the liberty to live it as they see best, and a government that protects their rights to do so. Let's move this country in a direction of prosperity versus poverty, of growth versus decline, of jobs versus unemployment, of productivity versus stagnation. In other words, we must not let our country go down the wayward path of Detroit, because there is a better way. There is another way. It's called the American way. That American way, that Colorado way, where people can make a life for themselves, where they can get that job, run their farm, or start their own business, where their families can take their children to the park and feel safe in their communities, where we have the proper balance between the individual, a market economy, and a responsible government. A market economy that is based on one's merit, hard work, and innovation, where you have the freedom to succeed, although some will fail. But everyone has the opportunity to pick themselves back up and make a life for themselves. Balanced with a responsible government, a limited and responsible government that works for the people, that builds roads and water systems, that keeps our taxes low, that protects our rights, upholds the Constitution, and defends our country, that strengthens the free enterprise system, embraces technology for self-government, that gives parents choice in their child's education, and yes, a government that is willing to give people that need it a hand up, not a handout, And for most Americans, a government that keeps its hands off our lives, respecting our liberty and individual responsibility. Let there be no doubt that these are tough economic times. Millions of jobs have been lost. Businesses are shutting doors all around us. The unemployment lines grow longer by the day. Yet what goes unmentioned is that we have lost confidence. Confidence in our ability to drive our economy forward. It is widely acknowledged that the Great Depression of 1929, the cause of that Great Depression was a sudden loss of confidence in our economic future. No amount of stimulus or government giveaways will fix an economy that is not rooted in the American confidence. Yet our government and we as individuals have borrowed heavily from foreigners to finance large deficits. Many of us have lived beyond our means. Our country has consumed more than it's produced, invested more than it's saved, imported more than it's exported, and our government has spent more than it's taken in. Foreign debt has financed a major economic expansion in this country. Then a boom, then a bubble, especially in finance and real estate, and now that bubble has burst. The reality of the economic crisis gives government expansionists a clear path to growing the role of government in our economy. The federal government holds a controlling interest in AIG, 36% in Citigroup. Uncle Sam holds the fate of both GM and Chrysler in its hands. With the financial industry bailout and the recent spending package, government spending will account for about a quarter of this country's gross domestic product this year, a post-World War II high. And all the while, we, and more importantly, our children, are being saddled with debt, endless debt, upon which we will all have to pay. Capitalism and liberty are on the retreat. But we gather here today to say once more that it's time to go the other way, the American way. We will move liberty forward in this country, and Republicans will play that role.